All right, y'all, welcome back to the Knapp Center and back to the Drake Hoops Rewind as we see our Bulldogs taking on the Colonials of Robert Morris. My first thought here, looking at the new hardwood, is I like the light wash. Looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit sharper on TV. And I am excited to see what kind of show these Bulldogs are going to put on for the home fans here in Des Moines. And as we look to jump it up here, it looks like it's going to be the same five for Coach Henderson's group. Andrew Aaliyah once again getting the nod. I think once again, a little bit surprised to see that. I think I was at least expecting Braden Applehans maybe after the great performance he had in South Dakota. And this is a great strong take from Federico. I love to see him putting that shoulder down, getting all the way to the rim. And he opens up the scoring for the Bulldogs. And on this first defensive possession, we see what really becomes a theme of this game on the defensive end: failure to defend the pick and roll. Not even necessarily that they're beating us on the pick and roll, but we're hedging up high, allowing those really clean entry passes to the low post. And right there, you see it leads to a basket. That's going to be a microcosm of things to come in this game. In the following offensive possession, we get the low post touch to Federico. That shot a little more out of control. I like when he gets all the way to the rim like he did on the first one. Not a bad look, but certainly not a great one either. After giving up a pair of well-earned buckets to the Colonials, the Bulldogs come back on offense, and I don't love this take from Wilkins exact. We're going to see, again, a handful of those between him and Federico where they just aren't the strongest takes in the world. Let's take another look at it. Fantastic work from Federico to be there to clean it up. He was great on the offensive glass tonight. But you see this take here, one hand going up with, it's just a tricky one. I'd like to see both 7 and number 8 get all the way, get as close to that rim as they can, and finish those strong at the hoop. And now how is this for running the floor off of the turnover? Jay-Sean Thomas getting up the court, nailing the catch and shoot 3. That's a great pass from Jalen Quinn, pushing the rock up the court, and a great hit from 22. On the ensuing offensive possession here, I like the ball movement. I really like this look that Jalen Quinn gets. Wouldn't have hated to see one more go to Jay-Sean. Good work from Oku to clean it up. But again, this is kind of what I'm talking about. I know he likes that kind of jump hook over the right shoulder, but I just, he gets the foul. Can't complain there, but I don't know. I see just maybe a few too many of those shots in his game. Could find other ways to, maybe spin, put it on his left hand, just maybe play a little bit more bully ball, get a little bit closer to the rim, but overall gets to the free throw line. Can't complain. Back down on the defensive end of the floor. Really love this low post defense from Oku Federico. Walls up, plays straight up and down defense, gets the block, gets the ball out of bounds off the Colonials and back in the hands of the Bulldogs. I absolutely love the ball movement on this offense possession. Zipping it around leads to a really good look here. Good dribble penetration, good extra pass from Jay-Sean. And that's a really clean look for Jalen Quinn that I expect him to make. So kind of another theme of the night. We just did not shoot it well. I thought we got a lot of good looks that didn't go down. A good tip from Applehans there. But here, man, we got to get defensive rebounds. It was our Achilles heel in Sioux Falls. We're seeing more of the same here. And just got to dig out those boards. I know it's a long rebound. It's a tough one to bring in. But once again, they're going to get a little, force a tough mid-range shot here. But again, Applehan's unable to get position. It costs him a foul. And unable to get off the court there on the defensive end. Coming out of the media timeout, we see the baselines out of bounds play from Robert Morris. And man, kind of a cheap foul there. He kicks his legs. Costs Applehans a second foul in short succession. And we're going to see, man, Applehans doesn't see a ton of the court the rest of the way out from here after picking up those 2 fouls, which I thought was really disappointing. I thought his impact when he was in the game was significant. We're going to see Aaliyah checking back in for Applehans, and that's really disappointing to see him kind of pick up a cheap second foul there. And I do have to say real quick, get a load of this fucking guy. Chubby ass. Look at those tattoos. The Chinese characters on both biceps. Horrible. He's a little chonky. You got the thick ass chin strap, damn near an Amish beard. No mustache. The mustache doesn't really connect to it. I can tell he's balding a little bit behind that curly shit, but man, hard to look at fella, but kudos to him. He kicks his legs out, gets his 2 free throws. Good defense from the Colonials here. Decent ball movement, but just couldn't really get anything going. Ends in a pretty tough shot from Jay-Sean Thomas on the baseline. But watch Jalen here, man. Look at him helping up Isaiah Carr before hustling back on defense. Love to see the leadership there. However, missed shot. We got to box out. Andrew just kind of gets bullied off that rebound. Leads to an easy 2 points. Another frustrating one on the defensive end. I really like this look we get here. Jay-Sean coming over the top of the screen. Good dribble penetration, inside out pass to find Aaliyah for the three. And again, another one of those good looks that just doesn't quite fall. Then we get beat a little bit down the floor. Andrew loses his man, and they get an inside out three of their own. Really frustrating. Tough sequence for 21, and a big swing there in favor of the Colonials. Coming off of that three-point bucket, we see Wilkins exact. Another one of those just kind of weak finishes, trying to go with the touch, trying to go with a little teardrop floater. I just don't love that shot. Would like to see him go a little bit stronger at the hoop, get a little bit better look. Coming off that really strong rebound we saw there from Will Exact, Jalen Quinn takes matters into his own hands. That is just a phenomenal finish, contorting his body, laying it off the window. Great take from JQ. Kind of a frustrating defensive possession here from Isaiah Carr. You see the pick here coming. He doesn't really hedge, but he still is so slow to recover, even though Jay-Sean was back on his man, number 11. Maybe a little lucky to get the bounce to fall, but pretty poor defense from Isaiah Carr leads to the easy corner three for Robert Morris. Again, we see the Bulldogs get a really good look at a three-point basket that's not quite going to fall. Good motion there, getting Shetler the rock. A really good look. Oku Federico pulling down yet another offensive rebound. And this, too, a good take here from Jalen Quinn going on the ISO, just unable to get that soft one to fall. See, that's a shot he, I think, is allowed to take more so than Will Exact or Oku Federico. We know he has the touch to knock those down. Unfortunately, that one doesn't go, neither does the three from Shetler, and Bobby Moe taking the ball back at us. After a good defensive possession and a rebound dug out by Griffin Goodberry, we get another good look. Corner three from Oku Federico. Again, not able to get those shots to drop. We really did not shoot the ball well last night at all. But here we see Andrew Aaliyah doing what he does, drawing those offensive fouls. I'm not really sure what happened there off the ball, but draws the foul and the ball is going back our way. Another theme here for this Bulldogs offense that I'm not exactly loving is just the dribble handoffs without any real penetration, too much outside the three-point line. But here, Eli Shetler going to take matters into his own hands. And ho, 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 Green Giant, bang! Nails that one off the jump. Little sidestep off the bounce. That's such a pretty stroke. He was fantastic tonight. A lot of encouraging signs out of number 10 in tonight's game. Right after forcing a travel on the defensive end, we turned it over on this end. That pass that slipped through Exact's hands. Gave up a tough bucket to their big man. Can't really complain too much about it. Griffin played okay defense on it. Here, a tough turnover from Shetler. And then Oku, good hustle to stop the first run at the fast break, but then, again, giving up second chance points. Very frustrating. Got to cut out those second chance opportunities. And then we see we're going to get Exact shooting the difficult three-pointer. Maybe got a little lucky here. Hits the dead spot on the rim and drops. Don't love the shot, but it's 3 points either way. And back on the defensive end. All right, here we see a pretty good pick-and-roll defense. I know I mentioned on that first or second defensive possession of the game, we're kind of getting burnt when we hedge super hard, but Goodberry playing really good defense on the pick-and-roll, doesn't overextend himself, stays in position, and a good stop there. Federico's maybe just got to rip that rebound. But I believe it's more in the second half where we really hedge up high, get burnt on a lot of those, and are just slow getting back to guard the low block. Back on the offensive end, and I definitely do not hate this shot from Jay-Sean Thomas. Fading away off 1 foot, but really good balance. We saw him hit that almost identical one-legged fader in Sioux Falls, but how's that for a bounce pass down to feed the post? Good defense here, though, from Oku Federico. Stays vertical, rips the rebound. That's a good defensive play from number 8. Bringing the ball back the other way. We see a little bit of stand-in again here, not a whole lot of offense, but once Oku gets the ball, he's going to be super assertive. Banging that shoulder into him. Shoots the fader, a shot I'm not super convinced on. I mean, he gets the bounce, he gets it to go. I can't knock it. It goes in. But, once he starts banging, I'd like to see him go strong into that hoop. After Federico gets that bucket to go here, Robert Morris bringing it back at us. Here they're going to set the pick, and they're going to slip it, catching Oku a little late, and Carr's late with the help as well. Giving up a bucket immediately after earning one on the other end. A little bit of a frustrating possession and another issue defending the pick and roll. Bringing it back at him are the Bulldogs here, and we see a really nice high-low pass from Isaiah Carr. Now, I fear maybe Oku doesn't have much of a left hand because right where he catches it, He has a chance to go up with his left, or he could spin onto his left hand there. Instead, he gets called for the offensive foul. Oh, man, really tough one going back in favor of the Colonials here. This offensive possession after Robert Morris makes a really difficult fadeaway mid-range jump shot. Really uninspiring. So much standing. He just goes back to basket. This not a great shot from Applehans by any means. And then slow to get back on defense. Isaiah Carr, his man, gets the easy layup on the other end. After Jalen Quinn works hard to earn 2 free throws, Robert Morris coming back the other way, running some really good offense. That's a great pass. Goodberry just gives up inside leverage, and another bucket for the Colonials. After the offense breaks down a little bit, Jay Sean going to try to do it himself. I like that take, but Goodberry staying tough on the offensive glass, going to get that tip to fall. Love that effort from the freshman. After a few possessions where neither team really did get a whole lot of offense going, right here, Elias just got to keep a hand up, stay in his space. I get it's a tough shot, maybe a little bit out of rhythm, but got to get up in his business and not allow that three-pointer. On the previous possession, we had a long rebound for Robert Morris. Get hauled in by an Andrew Aaliyah hustle play. He was fouled, put on the free throw line, made them both. But then this defensive possession here, it's pretty good effort for the first 22, 23 seconds of it, but at the end, we see a little bit of a breakdown. Jalen helps a little bit too much. Inside out 3 goes at the end of the shot clock. That's a really tough one to give up. Jay Sean's fouled on the other end. Being in the bonus, he makes both free throws. And how about this help defense from Thomas right here? Give me that. Unable to dig it out are the Bulldogs. Robert Morris going to keep possession despite the hustle from Shetler there. And the ball's going to stay with Red here on this end. After they get it in on the baseline out of bounds here, really good effort from all 5 guys in white here. Look at, even on that hedge, Will Exact a little bit quicker with it. Oku in position to help if needed. And Shetler says, now you give me that. End of the shot clock. Great defensive possession from Eli. He had a couple really good defensive plays in this ball game. We're going to see him in the second half. But if he's going to make an impact on this team, as well as being a shooter, he's got to do it on this defensive end, and we saw him do it there. This here, one of my favorite buckets of the whole game. Great flare screen here from Shetler. And what a take up and under JQ. What a fantastic bucket. That is beautiful stuff. After giving up a pair of buckets, one on a really tough floater, the other on a bad turnover from the Bulldogs, Federico goes to the line for 2. He makes the first. The second one here, not going to go, but watch the hustle play from Will Exact. Getting up, stealing that ball back. A good strong take. Nice touch with the left. And the Bulldogs are going back on defense. Now digging in, trying to make a stop. Watch Jalen Quinn working hard to guard the ball, and he's going to draw an offensive foul. He leans into that screen a little bit. Bulldogs get the ball back. Finally seem to have a little bit of momentum. After working hard to get that ball back, we're going to see the feed to Will Exact. And take a look at the footwork here. Goes hard spin. Hey, nope, not going there either. Maybe would like to see that get up on the backboard, but Federico rips it down, kind of gets a little lucky, kind of throws it at the front of the rim, but it bounces up and over, and 2 points for the Dogs. Now back on defense. Going to be imperative to get a stop. Got to be a travel there. I don't know. Looks like that foot slid. Ref is saying, didn't have possession of the ball, but Jalen Quinn getting on the floor for it. Ball gets pushed up. Aaliyah's going to look to throw the lob, and it's frustrating not to get that one, but I do not think that wasn't the right play from Andrew Aaliyah. I know in one of my group chats, we were all saying, oh man, just got to give him a bounce pass, get your 2 points, but I'm not 100% sure that wasn't the right play. Wilkins maybe a little bit exhausted. We saw the last 2 offensive possessions go through him. Tough to not get 2 points there. Drake getting the ball here to start this second half, and I love the passing and cutting, the urgency right away, making the extra pass. Great pump fake, inside out feed to Exact. Exact unable to get that one to go, and I'm starting to get maybe a little bit concerned about him as a three-point shooter. He was 1 for 5 in Sioux Falls. I think he's maybe 1 for 4, 1 for 5, something like that tonight. The one that did go in was that one that kind of hit the dead spot on the rim. And so a little frustrating, another missed opportunity on a good look at a 3. Now these here are the takes that I absolutely love from Exact. Getting all the way downhill, putting it up on the window, and one. That's a great take from Will. This possession here kind of feels like the second time where we bail out Robert Morris on bad shots on the baseline out of bounds. If they want this 16, 17-foot fadeaway, they can have it. But man, we got to box out. I know air balls can be difficult to rebound, but giving up more second chance points is just a concerning sign for this Bulldogs defense. We didn't get to see a ton of it tonight, but here's one of those really tough Jay-Sean Thomas buckets. Taking it coast to coast, really tough finish. That's a really good one from 22. After earning himself a tough bucket the last time down, it's going to be Jay-Sean trying to get to the rack. Unfortunately, going to get denied, but Oku Federico there again to clean it up. He had himself a good chunk of second chance buckets. Did his best rebounding work on the offensive end for sure. But here we see we struggle to defend the double screen up high, and it's going to leave a wide open pick and pop. They hit a three. Whenever we seem to get a little something going, they always had the answers. After Andrew Aaliyah fails to get his little 8-foot Garrett Sturtz floater to go, it's Robert Morris bringing it back at us. And here Aaliyah gets beat on the baseline. Applehahn's forced to help all the way down. Way too easy of an inside-out pass. And anytime they got one of them looks, those inside-out corner threes are just way too easy. Robert Morris makes us pay for overcommitting on the defensive end. Jalen Quinn earns 2 free throws on the previous offensive possession and then a good stop from the Dogs on defense. And I love this lineup. I think my friend Ben Denley called them the White Warriors. When we had those 4 white boys alongside, we saw Jay-Sean in South Dakota. We saw Will Exact out there with them. Right now it's Jalen Quinn. But this group, Braden Applehans absolutely nails that 3. When Shetler and Applehans are on the floor together, they space it so well. Those 4 white boys, the White Warriors, man, that lineup, I would love to see what their plus minus is, the 4 of them on the court together, because they have been phenomenal. And get a good stop there, force a tough shot, and bringing the ball back on offense here. Jalen Quinn going to take the ball strong to the hoop himself, and one fantastic finish. Bulldogs have a bunch of momentum. Man, you just like to see them capitalize when they have this type of momentum. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's a hot Drake cheerleader. Something I've never seen before. Zach, my guy, hitting the little emote of his own. Great sequence for the Bulldogs. Coming off of that phenomenal and one, and JQ's feeling himself a little bit here. How's this for some playmaking? What a cheeky dish. Griffin Goodberry going to put it home. JQ's fired up. That is a fantastic pass. Good dunk from Goodberry there. And then on the defensive end, man, we might dodge a little bit of a bullet here. JQ playing super hard. Going to help out, try to take a dig at that one on the block. Kind of leaves his guy. Good help from Andrew, but oh man, do we dodge a bullet. Great board from Aaliyah. Gets the foul call. Watch JQ here. He's fired up. He's flexing. He's yelling at the fans. That is good stuff. And hey, I got news for you. He is far from done. Jumping ahead a couple of possessions here. There were some free throws, a couple good stops. And look at this shot from Eli Shetler. Great pass from Jalen, hitting him in rhythm. And man, that stroke is really pretty from Eli Shetler. That's a fantastic bucket. After the great 3 on the other end, Eli Shetler says, you know what? I'll play both ends of the floor here. He's going to take a swipe at this. We're going the other way. Good feed to push it up here to Jalen. He's going baseline, and he says, come here, bitch. Come here, you little boy. That was my favorite play of the whole game. Had me absolutely just losing it. And you see there, Ben, Zach, AC, them boys are losing it too. What a sequence. That is Martin as well, man. Them boys are fired up. I don't blame them. I do not blame them. What a take from Jalen Quinn. Robert Morris makes a really tough floater. And then how about this? A really clean look from Eli Shetler. Another one of those you really expect to go down. One of my biggest frustrations with this team has been when we go on a run, we seem to get really cold after the fact. There's actually another possession in between. Oku Federico had a really good look at a 3. Just kind of wide open. Wasn't in perfect rhythm, but he missed it pretty bad as well. So a lot of missed opportunities for this offense. Now this right here might be to the counterpoint to me saying that, Will's got to always be going strong, because that's pretty good touch right there. A really difficult shot, but if that's one he's going to make, that is the counterpoint to my argument, absolutely. On the next defensive possession here, again, we struggle against the pick and roll. This one may be as frustrating as any of them. Take a look at Federico here. There's just no attempt to get back. Just wide open, way too easy. That's a tough one. Back on the offensive end here. Another frustrating play for Federico. He just kind of rushes this shot. It's a good pass. Just kind of rushes it, yips it a little bit. Bit of an air bank. That's tough. Whenever this Colonials offense needed a big bucket, man, they really seem to get it. Here you see decent defense here. But then at some point, 20 just gets a little bit of space needed, and he knocks it down. That's a big shot. They seem to always have the answer when needed. Tough offensive possession here. That's really good footwork from JQ. Goodberry on the offensive rebound just doesn't really know where to go with it. But how about this defensive effort, Jaysean Thomas? Look at the hands, pokes it off his leg. I love Jaysean Thomas as a defender. I think it's a super underrated point of the game. We all heard so much about Jalen Quinn's defense, his game, I should say, sorry. We all heard so much about JQ's defense, but Jaysean, really underrated, does a great job of keeping his guys in front of him, and there he shows off his quick hands too. I think this is another really good look at an inside-out three and another surprisingly bad miss. Another offensive rebound from Federico. Quinn's got to be knocking those down. Here we see another one of those possessions where Federico just gets way too sped up. That's a really bad shot. I think as the season goes on and he gets a little bit more experience, the game will slow down for him. But that there was a really tough look, a wasted possession. But on this defensive end, Shetler working hard, getting over the top of his guy. Man, he was so good on that end of the floor. After a pair of Jaysean Thomas free throws, the Colonials bring it back at us. And again, the inability to stop the pick and roll. That's a really nice pass, good finish. But man, that is something Coach Henderson is going to have to work on with Federico, stopping that pick and roll because they just killed us on it last night. Back on the offensive end, and oh man, what a great pass to the corner. Shetler again, a really clean look, and surprised that doesn't fall. Great rip from Federico, but again, goes up a little quick there, a little far from the hoop, and unable to capitalize on that opportunity are the Bulldogs. I think that for me, maybe this is the most frustrating offensive possession of the whole game because the passing was so good and so selfless up until, great pass here, right here, Wilgins, a little selfish, takes it himself. I'd love to see him zip that pass to Jalen Quinn with a half-step favor on his defender, see what he can do with it. That's just one we won't get back. After forcing a turnover, Wilgins goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line, forced a missed shot, and as Jalen Quinn went 1 for 2 from the free throw line. And then this defensive possession here. Love to see the effort. That's great D from Wilgins exact. And a great poke here from Jalen Quinn. Going to go down, get himself 2 free throws. You'd like to see him get 2 points in the first place, but going to the free throw line. And he falls out of the game there, I believe. One of their better players, absolutely. Now, that might have been his 4th. He might have been a little bit later that he fouls out. But either way, man, really good effort from Jalen Quinn on the defensive end. Jalen makes 2 free throws, and with that, get a 3-point lead. Starting to feel a little bit comfortable. I was mistaken. 20 had not fouled out yet. And, man, earlier I said whenever they needed an answer, they seem to have one. There it is. Jalen goes under the screen, gets caught a little bit, and he makes him pay. That is really tough. Some really good ball movement, gets exact to the free throw line where he knocks them both down. But then on the other end, man, that is just way too easy. Get it to the big man down low to tie the game back up. Now, I'm no math whiz, but I really wouldn't have hated to see us try to go quick to go 2 for 1. I know you don't want to force a bad shot and waste a possession, but if it's a possession you're not even going to get, man, I don't know. And on the offense here, just a little bit of standing. Jalen's going to try to take himself. I like that look. He just had to get it up a little bit higher on the backboard, and that's really tough. The Bulldogs are going to have to dig in, make a stop here, and force overtime. Robert Morris calls timeout. Here it is, absolutely imperative stop for the Bulldogs. They're going to take it down to the end of the shot clock. I would have gone to the pick and roll with the big man the way it was working for him. Instead of a little ISO ball. Good D from Jalen, good help. Oku gets the block. That was a pretty good follow-up look for their big man, but this game's going to overtime. This time, Bobby Moe going to go to straight-up back-to-basket bully ball, and this is really nice touch over his shoulder here. Fantastic finish. We're going to see a little more of that in this overtime period. This time, it's going to be Aaliyah finding JQ stepping into the deep 3, and he bangs it. Such a good-looking shot. Such a huge one from Jalen Quinn. Ice in his veins. Big bucket. But we're going to need the stop. We have seen Robert Morris have answers for all their questions so far today. And there it is. Absolute gut punch. Huge shot from 20. He was hitting them all day. You got to tip your hat. That's a huge shot. This time it's the Bulldogs who are going to need an answer. And where are they going to go? It's going to be Will Exact off the spin move. How about that dime? Oku Federico packs it home. Great pass, great finish, and we have a tie ball game with 3.5 to go. I told you that we'd be seeing it again, and here it is. Just a low block over that shoulder. Identical basket to the first one of this overtime period. And some sort of change has to be made. That's just far too easy. We see Isaiah Carr checking in to put a little bit bigger body on him the rest of the way here. After a pair of Jaysean Thomas free throws, Robert Morris tries going back to the low block. Very well defended by Isaiah Carr, unable to get the bucket to go. And how's this? The lob, Jaysean Thomas to Isaiah Carr. Instant impact off the bench for 24. And the Bulldogs back up 2 with 2 minutes to go. After forcing Robert Morris to take a really tough mid-range off the dribble, the jump shot goes, ties the game back up. But how about this footwork, this move from Jaysean Thomas? Beautiful jump stop onto 2 feet, step through with the left, great finish. And man, that is good stuff from Jaysean Thomas. He knows how to put that ball in the basket. Now, how about this foul on Isaiah Carr, man? How different might this game end up? That ball clearly bouncing right to Jalen Quinn. You didn't need that foul. Instead, they're going to go to the free throw line, have a chance to tie this thing up. Coming off of those made free throws, this is such a good pass, such a good find from Jaysean, and another really good clean look. How many of those did the Bulldogs have that did not go down? Man, I lost a little sleep thinking about all those missed. Such a good inside-out look from Jaysean, and then the layup on the other end, just a little too easy. Someone has to be there to help. Speaking of lost sleep, this was the play that was haunting my dreams last night. This such a good look from Jaysean Thomas. Right here, patient, comes over the screen, gets such a good clean look, and that ball was halfway down. That ball was halfway down. That was the shot I couldn't quit thinking about. And I didn't even realize that was the possession directly after that miss from Quinn in the corner. Man, 2 big missed opportunities, and that ball was so close to going down. All right, and here it is, 7-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, and I really like that we don't foul here. I think you got to play to make the stop. 7 seconds is a ton of time to go down and get a basket, almost identical to the amount of time that we had against NAU, and they did foul, and I didn't know that was the right decision. I saw some idiot on Bradley Twitter talking about, oh, what is Coach Henderson doing not fouling here? Man, the guy's like 5'6". I can tell he's never played basketball in his life. You know who you are. But this right here, good stop. I thought when it leaks out here we had a chance, and then he kicks it. I don't know how that's not a kickball, but time expires. The Bulldogs lose their first game on this court in non-conference in a really, really long time. And man, we see the birds getting tossed from the Robert Morris boys. Right there. And then I want to say there's another one too. Marty walking out in the back. You can see him now. Right there, some more birds. Classy organization over at Robert Morris. Tough loss, but at the end of the day, man, we want to be playing our best ball in March, and that's what I expect Coach Henderson's guys to do. We got a lot of guys with a lot of tools, a lot of pieces we're trying to fit together early in the season, but I don't think there's too much. I don't think we have to, crash out the way the Illinois State fans were on Twitter after their loss last night. I think we're going to be all right. And really frustrating loss, but I'm excited to see what Henderson ends up doing with this group.